Hey everyone, it's No Clue and welcome back for another racing mower update. First things first, I'd like to thank a whole bunch of people. I'd like to thank T-Man Cards for mentioning my channel in one of his videos. And I'd like to thank all the new subscribers that came over from T-Man's Cards. I hope I do not disappoint. And thanks for everybody who responded for the motor mount collaboration idea, and I got a lot of messages and a couple comments about it, and it's I've decided to go with the setup I had, that running that bar all the way back here like this. So that's it looks like that's kind of the winner. So for right now, I'm not cutting this pipe down because I don't know what I'm going to do with this back yet, because I'm thinking I want to weld like a tab on here so I can still like pull a trailer or something with it. I don't know why I would ever want to pull a trailer with this, but I don't know, it'd just be nice to have one. And it'd give me a spot to mount a wheelie bar if I needed it, because I don't know exactly how much torque this is going to have. But most of the weight's going over the rear axles because that's where the rider's sitting, so... Alright, sorry about that. That's the one issue with recording on a cell phone. If your cell phone rings, the video ends. So, sorry about that cut there. I'll do my best to flawlessly edit it in. But, like I was saying, I don't know how much torque this thing's going to have. And for all I know, the thing could just rip wheelies all day. Because, I mean, those are some pretty monstrous tires on the back. So I know I'll have plenty of traction. But, yeah, so I think first things first is we're going to tack weld my running boards on there. Then we'll start lining up the motor mount so I can decide which way this bar needs to go, because I'd like to have this bar as centered as possible, just because I'm OCD like that. But if it's not perfectly centered, I'm fine with that. So yeah, I'm gonna tack weld this in place, and see you guys after I'm done with that. Alright, so I decided against making the mounting tab for a trailer for the back of this mower. So what I decided to do instead is notch this tube here. Then I pounded it down with the hammer. I had it longer here. You can see this tab that hung over. I made it about a ½ inch longer just in case, because I didn't know how much metal was going to take up. But I knew if I cut it like a 1/8 of an inch longer or whatever, I'd mess it up and it wouldn't work. So rather waste just that little bit of metal instead of having to cut this off, or not even be able to use this tube for this actual part of the mower, and then have to use something else. So what I did is I just notched it here. I tapped it over with a hammer, like I just hit it down like that. So and then my next step here is to cut these angles out, and then I'm going to weld it along there, and I'm going to grind it smooth, so it gives it that little professional look to it, because this part isn't all that structural. It's just to make sure I leave no open ends, because right now I only have one open pipe on my entire mower, and that's on actually the rear axle, and that's kind of why I wanted to do the tab, so I could put some side supports on it over here. And let's pull this tire out some, maybe. Alright, whatever. But down in here, you can see this open pipe. I want to put like a piece of plate steel on here, then bring it back to reinforce the tab, which I'll probably still be able to do it because I'll give it plenty of strength. So, but yeah, it's going to end up finishing flush here on this pipe here, just in case I don't do it. Because my plan is to leave no pipe open on here for water and dirt to get in and build up, and then rust it out. So I'm kind of building this thing to last. Kind of like right here, I had to put my spacers in for my rear axle, so I gusseted those up so they're closed. So I'm gonna get back to manufacturing this piece over here, and I'll see you guys when I'm all done. I took the liberty of grinding it down a little bit. Probably grind that top edge down a little bit more if I wanted to, but you know, it looks pretty good, and it's nothing super structural as far as holding a massive amount of weight, because all the torque from that engine plate is going to go right there, and with the engine spinning, it's actually going to lift this bar up into the frame, then try to pull something away from it. So it'll still be pretty strong, and since this is triangulated like that, it won't bend. So yeah, my next step here is to weld this thing into the center of the frame, and then set my motor plate on there and line my motor up one more time to make sure everything's lined up, because I got to get this torque converter sent back by tomorrow to get it replaced or fixed, because that driven pulley's warped on it. So, and I don't want to ride a go-kart with a warped pulley, because it scares me a little bit. So I'm going to weld her in, get my motor mount set, and line everything up for the last time before that torque converter's got to go back. Alright, so I got this support here welded in. It's just held in by a couple tack welds. I mean, that plate's not even tack welded down yet either. So right now I'm gonna line my motor up here, and here's kind of why I beveled that angle here, so you can see back in here. All you have is this little tab here that I can grind down, because it does stick past the frame a little bit because of some of the tack welds I did on there, because I just did like a patch panel weld for that like I did on the hood. So it's not just a big boogery mess. So I'll grind that down a little bit, and then I'll weld it up with the frame. Then all you'll see is this little bump here instead of a huge piece of box sticking down. So yeah, it just kind of makes the mower look a little bit better overall, despite nobody ever seeing it. And that's the plan, for it not to draw your attention. So I think I did pretty good. So I'm gonna line my motor up here and maybe tack on the plate. Alright, so I got this all tack welded down finally, and unfortunately my welder decided to break on me. The wire feed isn't working on it anymore, and it was very intermittent, so I had to do a half-ass tack there, half-ass tack there, and that's where it started faltering on me. So freaking shot the spring off it. But yeah, this welder's been doing it for a while now, and there's that little wheel there. You can see that the standard screwdriver slot there. You can see a wheel underneath it, and that wheel's just slipping and it's not feeding the wire through. So I need to pick up a new one of those if I can find one for that welder. So, but for now, the end tack holds will hold beautifully. That's the good thing about having a super light frame. I can manhandle this thing with one hand. So we'll check my alignment on my plate one more time. It still looks parallel to everything. So as you can see, there is a slight offset on this motor mount. It's offset by like a ½ inch or something, because it'd actually be dead center if this was this plate would be like flush with this frame, so I can slide it over some. Because what makes it off center like that is this big weight here gets super close to the frame, so I offset it just to cushion it a little bit more, in case the motor were to torque or something while I have it bolted down, because bolts aren't tight enough or something like that. So I'm going to set the motor in here, and we'll check the alignment one more time, and I'm going to have to call this an update, unfortunately, because the welder's broken. So, I mean, I could do what I've been doing forever, and taking a wire wheel or that wire brush to that rubber wheel and score the surface up a little bit more to make it grip the wire, but I'm tired of fighting it. I'm just going to break down and buy a new one. So, let's set this motor in here. Let's see. How am I going to pick this up with one hand? I don't think I'll be able to, but we'll try it. By the valve cover. Alright, so I got to be very careful not to break any of these tack welds, because if the tack welds break, I'm screwed. Alright, so down in here, let's line our bolt holes up. Good enough. our clearance down in here is there, and you can see how tight that clearance is right there, and that's with the motor parallel to it. So I might notch the frame out there just to put my mind at ease. So yeah, it's pretty scary how close that comes. So if you're using this as a how-to for yours, don't set your motor down 1 inch unless you want to do extra work. So, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to notch that frame out because, yeah, that plate's not happy about it because my rear bolt holes aren't lining up on it. So, and that's why I figured I'd set that one hole on the outside is not lining up. So that's why I decided to set the motor with the torque converter on it before I sent the torque converter back to get it fixed. So I can actually notch this frame out now and then weld it later, so I can guarantee I'm going to have the clearance. So yeah, I'm probably going to come in at a 1/2 inch here, then go back maybe about the entire width of this pulley here just to ensure some clearance. So to make sure that we'll go through everything. So I'm going to mark that up. I'm going to cut it, take the torque converter off, box it up, and then I get to call it a video. So I get a little bit more done than I thought I would, and I'm quite happy about it with the way it's sitting right now, because if you look, you can see the torque converter does hang down below the frame a little bit. Not a whole lot, no more than that 1 inch running bar. So that'll also act as a skid plate now, or skid bar. So if I do bottom the frame out on anything, it'll hit that bar and sit and spare my torque converter. So good news on that. I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna cut this out. Then I'll conclude the video. Alright, so I'm recording this the day afterwards because my beard's gone and it's all shaven off now. Face is cold in the winter. No, but again, I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing. I'd like to especially thank T-Man's Carts for giving me that shout out. That really helped. Helped more than you could believe. And thanks everybody for posting the comments on all my videos, especially the design help idea, because I did go with that original design as you saw, but it got fine-tuned through everybody's comments. I didn't use one specific person, but I've used multiple people's comments and private messages and whatnot to help fine-tune it. So thank you guys for all that, and almost hitting 100 subs here. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have a subscriber special I plan on doing for 100 subs. It's not going to be anything big. I'm more than likely going to show off one of my little weekend projects that I threw together in an afternoon, and then farted around on it. So yeah, it's they're tons of fun too. So I'm really looking forward to showing that off. I won't be building one in the video, unfortunately, but I'll be going through those steps and probably the motions of building it by me taking the motor completely off it and everything. So yeah, look forward to that video.